What's going on, man? It's Chucktown Mozzie, and I am the MCU watcher. Now today, we're going to be talking about the X-Men and how they could join the MCU. Now we're not going to see full-on mutants until years from now, confirmed by Kevin Feige. Now they're likely to come sometime in Phase 5. Now I'm going to break down the X-Men and go over everything dealing with them entering the MCU. Now stop playing with me. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now I'm going to stay dropping content, especially while it's quarantining chill. Now, I grew up off X-Men. My first interaction with Marvel was with the Uncanny X-Men issue #1, 1991, when Jim Lee was the writer. Now, I feel like this was the best version of the X-Men. I didn't even know who the Avengers were. Now, I always felt so relatable to the characters. I remember getting up every Saturday morning to watch the animated series. And it's similar to the MCU and franchises like DBZ. Every episode is connected and had amazing sagas. The series is on Disney Plus if you've never seen it or if you never finished the series. You gotta realize this is one of the most successful franchises in Marvel's history in comics, TV, films, and video games. All of them. Now, if you don't know what mutants are, you should be ashamed of yourself. They are subspecies of humans who are born with superhuman abilities activated by the X gene. Now, the X gene causes the powers to manifest at puberty, but has many different cases. Now, the X-Men fight for peace and equality between normal humans and mutants in a world where they're hated by the humans they protect. Now, anti-mutant bigotry is fierce and widespread and plays a huge role. Now, let me know if this sounds familiar. Now, the X-Men are led by Professor X, Charles Xavier. Now, he's a powerful telepath who controls and reads minds. Now, his arch enemy is Magneto. Now, he has the ability to control metal and magnetic fields and leads the Brotherhood of Mutants. Now, it's not just a classic tale of good guy versus bad guy. Now, X-Men first appeared in September 1963, and Stan Lee made them as a metaphor to what was happening in the Civil Rights Movement. Now, Professor X has this vision of every mutant and human living together like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And whereas Magneto was focused on the protection of mutants compared to Malcolm X. Now, the X-Men home is a Xavier school for gifted youngsters, and they recruit mutants and teach them how to use powers and live with humans. Now, some popular characters are like Wolverine, Storm, Cyclops, Beast, Jean Grey, Gambit, Jubilee. But leave it down in the comment section. Who's your favorite X-Men? Now, my favorite hands down is Rogue. Now, I'll be doing a video on her, how she can enter the MCU and how we can get the proper Rogue this time, you know what I'm saying? Now, speaking of Fox, they released 8 X-Men films. We could argue all day of which ones are bad or not. But me personally, I wasn't satisfied with how they were portrayed. Now, only one that held up for me is Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Now, I have complete faith in Kevin Feige not to make the same mistakes. So Kevin Feige promised us that MCU's X-Men will be quite different from Fox's X-Men, and everyone thinks he'll deal with the X-Men as he does with Spider-Man. Now, if you notice, he hasn't repeated any story from the 2 Sony Spider-Man franchises. So expect to see the main X-Men, but a lot of other characters that we haven't seen on screen and stories never used before. Even though I want to see how different the films will be from Fox, but I get how they want to distance themselves from the movies. Now, it took months of negotiation to finalize the Fox-Disney merger, and one of the questions was if Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds would be able to make it over to the MCU, seeing how everyone else was getting recasted. Now, Deadpool is supposed to have his own movie and is rumored to be in Spider-Man 3 coming out next year. Now, the Eternals movie is in limbo right now due to the pandemic. Now, the movie didn't do any post-production filming, and nobody knows when things will go back to normal, but the movie was releasing November 2020. Now, the Eternals were made by the Celestials, who later created the Deviants as mortal enemies. In the comics, the Celestials experimented on human genes and made the X gene, but the X gene was supposed to be a failed experiment. Now, this is a way to give mutants an origin in the MCU. Now, I did want to talk about Scarlet Witch. Now, you know from the WandaVision trailer that her sons, Wiccan and Speed, which are mutants, are in the show. With her losing her parents, Quicksilver, and Vision, this is a perfect opportunity to use the House of M story. Now in the comics, the Avengers and the X-Men joined together to stop Scarlet Witch after she had a nervous breakdown. She lost control of her abilities and killed Vision, Ant-Man, and Hawkeye. Alright, now she grew more and more out of control, and Doctor Strange and Professor X together had trouble stopping her. Then Scarlet Witch changed reality with her powers and made the mutants the dominant species. Alright, now this was a totally different reality. Hawkeye was alive again. Wolverine was the head of an elite SHIELD unit. Now Wolverine was the only one who still remember how it used to be, and sets out to find X-Men and Avengers to restore their memories. Now Magneto is the father of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, and when he finds out what happens, he kills Quicksilver in rage of his dream being abused. He is quickly brought back as Scarlet Witch changes reality back to normal, and then tells Magneto that he cares for mutants more than his own children. Now she rages, and with her powers losing control, she says the words, "No more mutants." Now just like that, 90% of mutants lose their power. Now this could be a story to look for, but don't expect them to stick to every detail, alright? Now mutants are to appear in several other shows and movies throughout Phase 4, like Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2, and Thor and Love and Thunder. Now who knows how all this will play out and what stories they're going to use. But if you read the House of X, you know there's some good stories going down right now in the comics. So tell me what y'all think about the X-Men joining the MCU. Now I think if you can make the Avengers a household name, just think of what you could do with the X-Men. But I just wanted to go in depth for some MCU fans that don't know a lot about the comics. Now tune in to me and I'll break it all down for you so you can understand. Now if you made it to the end, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching, y'all boy.